Like, I love video games, and I love VR, and I think it's incredible. I don't know that I would ever want to, like, give over my nervous system to...
Hardcore, I would do it.
Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks. As always, I'm PK.
I'm your friendly neighborhood Carlos.
And this week we've been geeking out about video games, how they exist in the culture, some of their movies, successes, and failures. If you haven't noticed, we are missing our beloved Bowser. I mentioned why in the first episode of the week, but he is off doing something awesome with our awesome community theater in Elkhart. Premier Arts, they did the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it was super cool. So that is why he is not with us today, but he will be back next week. So we have talked about what video games mean to us and how they hold a special place. We have talked about some of the video game movies, their successes and failures. Now let's talk about, so we talked about like past, present. Now it's time to go to the future. There is a lot in talks. Obviously, the PlayStation 5 has been announced. Not officially announced, but there's a lot of rumors speculating. I think
it has. They actually dropped a price on it as well.
Did they really?
$400.
Well, dang. See, well, it surprised me when they said PlayStation 5 because I know originally Sony was kind of playing with the idea of just updating the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I heard they didn't really want to like go any further, but I'm hopefully with this PlayStation 5.
That'll be it. I'm wondering if they're going to do like almost like a PC build kind of thing where you can replace parts on the inside. I think that would be wise.
That would actually be really cool.
And that way you can update and move as technology moves forward.
And at that point, you might as well just make one console that can support PlayStation and Xbox.
Right, and that'd be incredible. And okay, so this is something really cool. Speaking of the future, and the reason I think they have to do the PS5, I recently went to Fort Wayne and hung out with a couple of my buddies that are over there, and they were showing me these Minecraft mods.
What?
No, hang on, there's a reason for this. There is light bounces off of things.
Right.
There is an actual component to that, and so they've created a mod that is so intense on it. I can't remember what it's called, and if you know what it's called, comment below. I would love to remember. But basically, it's such a hard thing to render that a guy with a 2080 graphics card, which is like one of the strongest ones you can get, and like a huge processor, he was still only able to run it at 60 frames per second.
What?
The PlayStation 5 is hoping to allow for this rendering, so like light reflecting off water and all of that should be hyper realistic, and color changes. So like if light hits a red surface, it might turn orange.
Right.
It's gonna do that.
What?
It'll know to do that. So it's gonna.
That blows my mind.
They've created coding to allow for light to be processed properly. So light will bounce off of things and reflect the way they're supposed to. But it's such an intense process, and I think that might be why PS5 has to happen, because it's supposed to have that technology.
It'll give it that final push, and if we can get that out, that'll just open so many other doors for.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at hyper realistic aesthetics, which is awesome, and I'm hoping the PlayStation VR will be something that can move with the PlayStation 5 because it was costly. I'd hate to lose out on that. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible how far we've come. If you think about, I remember playing Call of Duty and thinking, wow, these are such realistic graphics.
Actually, backtracking, the actual first Call of Duty I ever played was Call of Duty, and my buddy had it on his desktop, and we'd have to wait until his dad was asleep. Then we'd go downstairs, and we would play Call of Duty until ungodly hours of the night, until the morning. And we just, like, our fingers would hurt from moving the mouse and pressing the keys, and what'd I do to go back?
But I remember thinking those graphics were like top of the, because I mean, you come off something like Legend of Zelda or Super Mario or GoldenEye, where they're boxy or they're choppy, like, and then they had Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and they all looked at my eyes. They're like, these are super realistic.
Yeah.
And now looking back, I'm like, wow, these graphics are poop. So I hate this.
The other day, I actually, like, on my old box TV at my mom's house, all my old Lego games for the Wii looked beautiful. I get home and I put it into my flat screen, and the whole thing is like fuzzy, and I'm like, this was top of the line at some point. Like, we didn't think it could get better than this, and now here we are with like The Last of Us or
I mean, you're playing something cinematic. And you had made mention this, I think, in the first episode of the week about how Sony is wanting to go to a single player drive, and I think they already do that now super well with like their exclusives. The Last of Us is one of the best story games you can ever play. I genuinely believe that.
I've played that story more times than I can count, and it never gets old.
No, and they're remastering Final Fantasy VII, which Final Fantasy is notorious for looking beautiful, but not my favorite fighting style.
Really?
Yeah, so the combat used to be like Pokemon, but like if you don't evolve, what do I care? That was my childhood brain. But I've gone back and I played them, and like I've gotten really comfortable with them. And Final Fantasy VII was always one of my favorites. But now they're bringing my characters to life, and they're gonna have the combat system of Final Fantasy 15, which is absolutely incredible.
No, unfortunately I never got like into the Final Fantasy games. Like it was something that I always like saw and it looked intriguing. I don't really have like a reason why I'd never pulled the trigger on that, but I guess I never got into it. And then there's Final Fantasy, like you said, 15.
Yeah.
Like I know I have like a few of them for my GameCube, but
well, and then you have things like Final Fantasy 13 technically had 3 games.
What?
Yeah. So short story, my roommate from forever ago, he actually went through and played all 3 of them, and I watched him play it, and that's when I actually fell in love with it, because I'd only ever played Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 3. I think those are my 2 Final Fantasies, but I skipped all the other ones, like 10, 12, all those. I only ever watched one guy do a video about it. He like animated it, and he like talked about how whiny the main character of Final Fantasy 12 was, and like how poorly drawn he was. And I was like, wow, why would I want to play this?
Right. Just, you know, I only like the games I never played. I always watched Game Grumps play. I always watch them. Like
I love Game Grumps.
I still watch them to this day.
No, I am still subscribed.
Oh, absolutely.
Danny and Aaron are my favorite, and I just bought their new album. They put a 3rd one out.
Wait. Starbomb?
Starbomb just put out their third studio album. Starbomb put a 3rd studio album up. So not kid friendly. So
I did not know. Yeah, no, don't do it.
So don't.
I didn't know that though. That's
yes, it absolutely incredible. They're really amazing, and I think there's something to be had about YouTube gamers. That's actually kind of what I want to bring it up. Like, I think there's something to be said about that side of gaming too. But like when you were a kid, I think everybody at least once that played video games had this idea of, oh, I would love to be a professional gamer.
Oh, I mean, I'm 21 years old and I'd still love to be a professional gamer.
Right. And I think at one point it had to be competitive gaming, and now people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Game Grumps, Ninja, all of these people have made it possible for people like you and me to actually make a career out of video games.
They're kind of like paving the way. Like things like that are just going to be like easier and easier as, you know, time moves on with, you know, the more people that do it, the more advice that drops down, the more like, you know.
Right. It's absolutely incredible. And
the growth, it's never going to stop. Like if someone was like, hey, let's put a stop to video games, I just don't think it would like ever in a million years happen.
No. It's like comic books. Somebody was like, hey, these are really bad for your brain. And
who told you that?
Like comic books are like bad and they cause violence, stuff like that. Like it's the same concept. That's the same argument.
No, I was never told that.
Really? That's all they taught. That's what they taught in my school.
I wasn't allowed to play like Magic and stuff like that, but like comics and stuff were cool.
Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Oh man, no. We were cool to do that. We just weren't supposed to read comic books or play video games because it would make us violent. And
I mean, that's still the argument today. Like as soon as someone releases a first-person shooter, they're like, oh.
To be fair, there was that no Russian mission in Modern Warfare 2 that might have been a bit too far.
You don't have to play that.
You can skip it.
You can.
But that was
my favorite mission. Let me tell you what. Not really, but
that was super dark. Okay, but yeah, I think gaming has a really cool future. Not only in like how far we can advance, how we tell stories, but it's also got this aspect of, hey, we can make people the face of these.
You know, as silly as this sounds, like my roommate and I, we talk about this a lot. One day, video games will probably be so advanced that they can legitimately just put you in there instead of like a VR headset. Like one of my cousins was telling me about. He works a lot with like developers and things like that. I can't give names unfortunately, but he was talking about this like model that they're working on, and it projects the game into your room. Like it's like they're working on like heavy things. Like one of the ones that they started as a demo was Minecraft, so that they could move blocks and things like that, and you have like specific glove. I don't know. It's the whole thing. Like at some point you'll be able to like be in a video game, and that just blows my mind.
There are really cool things to that, but there's places that I hope it never goes.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Sword Art Online. I don't know if you ever watched that. Like that's the kind of place.
That's so far.
That's something like I don't know that I'd ever want to happen. Like I love video games, and I love VR, and I think it's incredible. I don't know that I would ever want to like give over my nervous system to
hardcore. I would do it. Like if I like for small games,
I would definitely not do it day one. Like maybe maybe this is like maybe this is like the anime viewer in me. Like I've learned, I was like, okay, there are like things you don't do.
And anime has helped you realize this?
SAO did. In that, like, I don't want to be the first person to do it. Like,
absolutely not.
Like, if this seems kind of risky in the slightest, I mean, like, he was what do they call him?
I couldn't tell you.
A beater. I think it was a beater, because they played the beta, and so they knew all the.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, not the point. I would never be one of the first people to put that helmet on.
I would definitely let it like work its bugs out, and then have like whatever developer make that.
Something's gonna like fry your brain, and you're never gonna come back.
Or it could be like Doc Ock. You just have like an inhibitor chip, so that you maintain control. And
then it breaks, and they start talking to you.
I mean, I'm sure you'd have to sign a waiver.
You gotta sign this waiver and sign over your human rights.
You might lose your nervous system to the game, but that's a maybe.
It's strong maybe.
75-25, like.
But hey, you get to go inside your favorite video game. So I think there are cool places that video games could go.
Yes.
And then there's whatever that is. I don't know that I necessarily want it to go to that location.
Like, okay, maybe they don't have to like add like the pain in there. Like, so like for example,
that was turned off. Originally that was turned off, and it gets turned on, or it starts like come on.
That's right. Yeah. I was saying, like, if I'm playing Spider-Man and for some reason like I can't get a web out and I just fall, like in the game you don't take fall damage, but like.
Okay,
it's like the scariest thing.
I will say this is something we talked about. I told you that Minecraft had the VR.
Yes.
So you can go into so I had it for the Samsung VR.
Oh yeah.
So I flew up into the air, all the way in creative mode. I went to the top, and then I looked down.
That is like the scariest thing.
No, I hate heights, but so I looked down, right? And I double clicked the button, and then my body starts falling. And as you get closer to the ground, your stomach does that thing. Like, even though I'm standing, and I know
my feet are tensing up like right now.
I was standing on the ground, but I hit the ground and I buckled.
Oh, you just...
I was like,
no.
Oof.
Have you seen like the people that try to like reach the cat at the end of the skyscraper in the VR, and then like someone comes up and pushes them, like they fell off the ledge and they just freak out?
It's so good. I absolutely so I hate heights, but like when something like that, my brain is still cognizant enough to know. But
it depends on the mood I'm in. I like how so heavy good. Into the
creative mode with Minecraft. You get to fly around, and I always thought that was really cool. That was what I used it for. I bought Minecraft just so I could fly around, which is weird because I never.
No, that actually sounds like kind of therapeutic and cool.
It's like flight has never been my superpower of choice.
Really?
Nope. Super speed, which I got to do that too.
I can get behind that.
But flying around it was a therapeutic, even though it was like blocks everywhere. Like,
right? You're like, But
like,
this isn't real, but
I was flying around and like it was nice.
That's awesome.
I think there are things like that I would love to see video games move in that direction.
Nintendogs. I'd like to see Nintendogs move in that
Nintendogs
direction.
VR. Oh, Nintendo just made their VR.
What?
Yes.
Really?
That Labo stuff. I don't know if you've seen.
I haven't been
cardboard. But
like that interacts with the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now they have a VR headset for it.
Like it.
Yeah, it comes on. You put it on.
Do you put the Switch right here?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's gotta be heavy on your face.
Yeah, there's like a grabbing thing, but you could play.
What?
I saw a guy playing Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild in it.
Oh.
Now you're forced in third person, but he brought the camera out and he was walking around with it that way.
Wait, so you're still in third person in the VR?
Yeah, not on all of them, but in Breath of the Wild, so you could play any video game in the VR. But he pulled the camera out, and he actually got to walk around Hyrule, and I thought
that's awesome.
I would love to see Nintendo take that kind of step in VR.
Like that's where that should go.
Yes.
Like a Legend of Zelda VR, like that's kind of overwhelming. Like in I've never thought that was possible kind of way.
And this literally just hit me, but a Pokemon VR, like beyond Pokemon Go, but to like actually be able to go in and like battle Pokemon, see it right in front of me, like in the size that it is, that would be.
Did you ever watch Video Game High School?
Yeah.
On Netflix. So something like that, kind of like how like when it goes into the cinematic of like they're playing the game.
Yeah.
Like that's how like.
Yeah, and like I think I'd like that, and like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's another one where
that would be
like they use projections to summon the monsters. I think that things like that I think would be really cool for things like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh to kind of work their way towards. They'd be a little more expensive.
Definitely.
But I think that could be a really cool place for the future of gaming, not even outside of video games, into like board games.
Dude, Jumanji.
I don't want Jumanji.
Maybe not as like
Jumanji is
severe as Jumanji.
Nope. Jumanji and Zathura can go all the way.
I totally forgot about Zathura. That was such a good movie.
Yeah, like
that was crazy.
Yeah. And then so talking about, I guess it's not really video games or board games, but the sequel Jumanji, or the one with The Rock. I know you don't like The Rock.
I did see that movie. Kevin Hart made it funny.
Well, and Jack Black was in it too.
And then Jack Black made it funnier.
I love Jack Black. Jack Black is underrated.
Did you know that he's got his own gaming channel?
Yeah. I haven't seen it though. But the reason I brought that up was they made a callback to the original movie.
In that
in the video game one.
Yeah, because he was
when they got to Nick Jonas's hut that he was staying in.
I forgot that was Nick Jonas.
When they got to that hut, he was they were like
it was like his hut that he stayed in until someone rolled a.
Yeah, when he got pulled out of the board game, like that was his hut that he made, and I was like, that was such a cool little like homage to Robin Williams. But yeah, video games have a lot of places they can go. I'm actually kind of curious where you guys would like to see video games end up.
Whether you'd willingly give up your nervous system on the first day to
to
a new system.
That's never going to be an option for me. I will not day one. Like I said, I would
day two,
maybe day two. But I it's so crazy that all of these doors that I guess like I never even thought were possible.
Oh, absolutely not. As a kid sitting there playing like the Super Nintendo, like at that time you thought this was as good as it's going to get.
The second they put backlighting in Game Boys, I remember being excited. So I don't know, things like that. Like we've come so far, we can only go further. I do hope Xbox follows in PlayStation steps.
Absolutely.
In that they're going to put out more single player games. I'm sad they're going to be exclusives, which means I now have to go get a PS5, but it's fine.
I think the PS5, like one of the nice things, will be compatible, from what I've heard, with like all PlayStation games.
Which that would be incredible.
I'd have to get that.
Yeah, but let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for sticking around in the video game episode. I promise you, if you heard about a video game, but you're like, I wish you would have talked more about it, leave that in the comments below as well, because we do want to geek out about it.
Absolutely.
This was more just a broad, like, there's a lot going on in the video game world right now, and I thought, why not talk on it? Because with PS5 coming out, with all of the controversy.
The new only digital Xbox coming out.
Really?
You didn't know that? Yeah, they took away the disc drive completely. It's going to be all digital.
See, that's what I'm saying. The world is... So, let us hear your opinions. Let us hear your thoughts. If there's things you want us to geek out about in the upcoming weeks, leave that in the comments below too. We're always invested. We want to, geek out with you. We might be doing an extra special episode or two this week because there are things I still want to geek out about that aren't necessarily video game specific. So, keep an eye out for those. But as always, I'm PK.
I'm your friendly neighborhood Carlos.
And until next time, you keep geeking out.